these thieves are breaking into the back of a cargo truck.
You know, the old famous saying, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is. It's the same kind of situation with freight and how freight moves around the world.
Cargo theft has more than doubled in just a year. Nearly $130 million worth of goods vanished in 2023. And that's only what's been reported.
I think we're at an all-time high. I haven't seen cargo theft at this level that we can remember.
California, Texas, and Florida rank as the top hotspots, but the risk isn't limited to the coasts. More incidents are being reported inland, in logistics hubs like Chicago and here in Louisville, Kentucky.
So the warehouse here is positioned within a fully secure yard.
And the industry is fighting back.
We have invested millions and millions of dollars to reduce any of that theft.
Companies are investing in tech like this.
That's a covert tracking device that's going to be applied to this load.
Cargo thieves aren't just simply breaking into trucks or hijacking trucks.
The way we connect now, the technology has allowed us to move at such lightning speed, it's kind of hard to slow that down. And therein lies the problem.
Here's how cargo thieves are infiltrating America's supply chains, and what's being done to stop them. Logistics accounted for about 9% of the GDP in 2022. That equals over $2.3 trillion. So as billions of dollars worth of goods are moving around the country, think of the players in the US supply chain like this.
You have on one side 100,000 shippers, and on the other side you have 1 million truck driving companies that are hauling those goods for those shippers.
Cargo theft is defined as goods stolen during transportation. Incidents have reached unprecedented levels. CargoNet found that cargo theft is up nearly 58% from 2022 to 2023. And in the fourth quarter of 2023, theft was up nearly 68%.
We did see an increase during the pandemic, certainly, but it has really started to have a steep increase over the past 18 months or so.
In the first 20 weeks of 2023, we saw 41% increase.
Just over 2,800 incidents were reported in 2023, which is double what was reported in 2018.
It's definitely accelerating. Why? Two reasons. One is the economical situation.
The targets are often high-value products like electronics or pharmaceuticals, but what's most valuable follows economic trends. For example, when food prices went higher, criminals started stealing more food.
You can imagine the reason why more criminals are turning from traditional crime. It's a very, very low risk and very, very high reward. Stop at a law enforcement officer and he finds $1 million worth of cocaine, that guy's going to prison for a long time. If he opens the trunk and there's $1 million of electronics, it's probably not even something the law enforcement officer is going to understand, so he's probably going to let him go.
According to Uber Freight CEO Lior Ron, the second reason thefts are accelerating relates to digitizing the supply chain. This has led to a rise in strategic cargo theft, which is where thieves commit fraud.
And that's where organized cargo theft rings basically trick the transportation industry into giving them the freight.
We deal with a lot of identity theft carriers and shippers and brokers with their identities stolen. Think of you don't know who's on the other end of the computer.
And that brings us to the second form of cargo theft, straight theft.
Straight theft, which basically means they physically go out to the tractor and trailer and steal either just the trailer or the tractor, or they'll commit what we call pilferage, which is when they open the rear doors and they just take a part of the load.
The amount of pilferage thefts we're seeing has exploded more than anything.
CNBC visited one of Overhaul's Louisville operations to get a closer look at how cargo theft can be stopped.
Well, this is one of the most technically advanced warehousing complexes you will ever have the pleasure of walking into.
We can break down the tactics used to prevent cargo theft into 4 themes of initiatives: operational measures, smart technology, data analysis, and collaboration.
A couple of different mechanisms are used to assign deliveries to license plates.
We have the pre-departure and the pickup area, an area of high interest because we know how risky it can be.
Operational measures also include driver education.
An ability to capture identity information like a driver's license, for example, the correct legitimate pickup documentation.
Before we even onboard and accept a new carrier into the platform, we are vetting all those carriers. Uber Freight is Uber for freight.
Your one-stop shop for quoting, booking, and tracking shipments from pickup to drop-off.
We manage now almost $20 billion of shipments in the United States.
And using tech is key. This includes digitally locking systems and real-time tracking.
Bold seals are just not smart enough. Criminals have found a way to get beyond it without you ever knowing it was touched.
For example, Overhaul has unveiled its smart locking seal to protect against break-ins and theft.
We needed a guaranteed, foolproof way of knowing somebody's opening the door. The Bluetooth seal can talk to a device hidden inside the cargo where you never find it. So when somebody cuts that cable to open that door, and you're in a position to know something very powerful, that load has just been accessed.
Between GPS connectivity, SKU level and pallet level connectivity, we have telematics, we have cameras, you have visibility on all the assets.
Using all of this different tech creates a collection of data that companies can then analyze.
Data is being streamed into Overhaul command centers around the globe. So our job is to look at these different data streams, to layer on other data that might be relevant, such as weather, and then to make determinations about what is actually happening to that freight. Do we need to intervene?
For example, Overhaul launched Risk GPT that uses this data to aid in risk management.
We probably have about 4 billion risk events that we've recorded over the period of time that allow us to inform, based on this geographic lane, this road, just what the level of risk is going to be on that road. We add 20 million new risk events every month.
Lastly, the fourth theme of initiatives is collaboration, which includes sharing information with law enforcement.
A customer calls us or a law enforcement officer calls us with a theft event, and we're searching our system for like or similar incidents, and we're putting together an intelligence alert, a BOLO, if you will, to send out to law enforcement, and a civilian alert to send out to our non-law enforcement members.
Intervening in our world means that we use technology to communicate with law enforcement. So in the event that there is a theft, what we're going to do is we're going to actually deliver the data package that gives that law enforcement officer the greatest chance of success of a recovery, the response that has to be done within the first hour of theft, or you're just not going to get it back.
As the industry evolves and tries to prevent theft, not everything works perfectly.
There's a lot of push-pull there on solving this problem. The folks on my side of the table are saying, I can come up with the best solutions and the best locking devices, but then I hear back from the industry, well, how do we get that lock back to the shipper? You know, we're putting a $40 or a $50 lock on the back of the trailer, or we put a GPS in the trailer. Now we've got the reverse logistics with getting the GPS unit back to the GPS company or the shipper so they can recharge it. And the folks on the other side of the table saying, you don't understand, we got to get this freight moving. We've got to solve this problem ourselves. We can't depend on law enforcement to solve it for us.
Compliance is a big word in logistics. You know, everybody has an expectation of what's supposed to happen, but what's actually happening? It's all about avoidance, not cleanup. Now, you might have to clean up sometimes because you didn't get that compliance.
There's been an increase in federal and state responses to the rise of cargo theft incidents.
Right here, right now, with the launch of a new Council on Supply Chain Resilience. I'm charging this group to ensure that our supply chains remain secure, diversified, resilient.
I think the federal government is seeing that this is an issue, and Homeland Security has been spending time on cargo theft. The FBI is spending time on cargo theft.
It's about prevention, because that's disruption, even when we recover. And the most important things we can provide our customers with is with a seamless, quiet engagement where they never see us and everything goes right. The beginning of another safe delivery.